Hey folks, pull up a chair because I've got to tell you about the absolute circus that went down right here in Evergreen Oaks. You know the type of place. Every lawn mowed to the exact same 3 inches like someone's got a ruler and a grudge. Mailboxes all the same beige. American flags fluttering in perfect sync, and everyone smiling like they're auditioning for a toothpaste commercial. On the surface, it's pure suburban bliss. Underneath, it's a police state run by clipboard-wielding tyrants who think community standards means whatever I say goes. And the queen of that little empire was Karen Whitaker, 55 going on insufferable, always in that same too-tight hot pink dress that looked like it was fighting for its life, face permanently screwed into a scowl that could curdle milk. My neighbor Ryan Callahan was the last guy you'd expect to end up in her crosshairs. 42, widowed dad raising his 12-year-old daughter Lily all by himself after his wife passed. He worked from home as an IT consultant, kept his head down, paid his dues, and finally treated himself to something nice. A gleaming red Porsche 911 he'd saved for 2 years. Lily loved that car more than her bike. Weekends were all about her helping wash it, soap suds everywhere, her giggles echoing down the cul-de-sac. It wasn't flashy to Ryan. It was proof he was still moving forward. That sunny Tuesday morning started like any other. Ryan was on his porch swing, black coffee in hand, watching Lily ride circles on the driveway. The breeze smelled like fresh-cut grass and neighborly lies. Then came the click-clack of heels like war drums. Karen marched up the sidewalk, stack of papers clutched like a battle axe, that red pen gripped like she was about to sign someone's death warrant. Ryan Callahan, she barked before she even hit the porch steps. Get down here. This is official HOA business. Ryan didn't flinch. He took a slow sip, eyes cool as ice. Morning, Karen. To what do I owe the pleasure of your delightful company this fine day? She shoved the papers at him like they were evidence in a murder trial. Section 4, subsection C, visual harmony violation. That eyesore in your driveway is disrupting the entire community aesthetic. Excessive road usage, lowered property values, the whole 9 yards. You now owe a $10,000 maintenance fee. Pay by Friday or we lien the house. Ryan actually laughed, a short, dry sound that carried zero humor. 10 grand? Bold number. Funny thing, I sat through every single HOA meeting last year and nobody mentioned any new ordinance about sports cars. Care to show me the vote minutes? Karen's cheeks went the exact shade of her dress. It was an emergency decree. I have the authority as president. Authority, Ryan said, setting his mug down with a deliberate clink. Last I checked, that title got a little shaky after those developer kickbacks came out. The ones that mysteriously disappeared from the community fund. Ring any bells, or should I refresh the neighborhood group chat? A ripple went through the street. Old Mr. Jenkins suddenly found his rose bushes fascinating. Mrs. Patel's poodle started yipping like it sensed blood in the water. Ryan pulled out his phone, calm as Sunday, and swiped to a screenshot of an old email chain proving Karen had steered contracts to her cousin's company. Karen's voice cracked. That's ancient history. This is about rules. Rules you write on the back of a cocktail napkin? Ryan replied, eyebrow raised. Tell you what. I'll pay the fine the day you explain how your own backyard sunroom addition magically appeared without any permits last summer. The crowd was growing. Karen spun on her heel, heels stabbing the grass like daggers. You'll regret this, Callahan. Mark my words. Ryan watched her storm off, then looked straight at me across the street and gave the tiniest nod. I knew what it meant. He wasn't fighting yet. He was collecting. Quietly. Methodically. The man had already started recording every interaction on a hidden app, printing every letter, timestamping every threat. He was patient. But patience has a shelf life when your kid starts asking why the mean lady in pink hates daddy's car. That was just day one. By the end of the week, Karen had cited Ryan for lawn edging misalignment, trash can visibility, and, I kid you not, excessive vehicle shine reflecting into Mrs. Patel's window. Each fine came with a handwritten note. Think of the children. The same woman who once tried to ban Halloween decorations because orange clashes with beige. Ryan paid the small ones. Kept his cool in front of Lily. But at night, I'd see his porch light on while he built his folder. Emails, photos, recordings. The rest of us started avoiding eye contact with Karen, but we all knew the storm was coming. Little did we realize it was going to end with actual flames. The next 2 weeks were pure slow-motion torture. Karen turned the entire HOA board into her personal attack squad. Every Tuesday, meeting became a circus. She'd stand at the head of the folding tables in the community center, pink dress glowing under the fluorescent lights like a radioactive Barbie, pounding her gavel like she was Supreme Court Justice. Item 1, she'd announce, voice dripping fake sweetness. Mr. Callahan's continued disregard for visual harmony. We simply cannot allow one resident to lower everyone's property values with his midlife crisis machine. Ryan sat in the back row, arms crossed, Lily beside him coloring quietly. He never raised his voice, just asked questions in that calm, deadly tone. Can you show the exact vote tally for this new rule, Karen? Because the bylaws say it needs 75% approval. She'd sputter, cheeks flushing. Emergency powers. I have the authority. Authority you keep reminding us of, Ryan would reply, smiling like he was discussing the weather. Reminds me of that old saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Especially when the absolute power also happens to own an unpermitted pool house. The room would go dead quiet. People shifted in their metal chairs. Mrs. Patel suddenly remembered she had to check on her dog. Old Mr. Jenkins coughed into his fist. Karen's eyes narrowed to slits. This meeting is adjourned until Mr. Callahan learns respect. Outside, the gossip mill went into overdrive. He's making trouble. Single dad, probably unstable. That car is just asking for it. Lily started coming home from school crying because kids repeated what their parents said at dinner. Ryan would hug her, tell her it was just grown-up nonsense, but I could see the exhaustion in his eyes. The man was losing sleep, losing clients, losing the quiet life he'd fought so hard to rebuild. Yet every night he added more to the file. Screenshots of Karen's Facebook posts bragging about keeping the neighborhood pure. Photos of her own backyard expansion that clearly violated every rule she enforced on everyone else. And the recordings. Oh, the recordings. Every snide comment, every veiled threat, captured crystal clear. One evening Karen cornered him at the mailbox. You think you're so clever, Callahan? Keep pushing and you'll lose more than a parking spot. Ryan didn't miss a beat. Is that a threat, Karen? Because my lawyer might find that interesting. She laughed, a nasty, jagged sound. Lawyer? You'll need a miracle. I own this street. 2 days later the anonymous complaint started. Ferrari is a fire hazard. Single dad hosting suspicious visitors. The HOA website suddenly listed Ryan's address under properties under review. Neighbors stopped waving. Even Mr. Jenkins crossed the street to avoid small talk. Ryan's daughter asked him one night, voice tiny, Daddy, why does everyone hate us now? That was the moment something in Ryan hardened. He told me later he stopped being patient. He started being prepared. Meanwhile, Karen grew bolder. She began driving past his house at night, slow, headlights sweeping the Porsche like a predator. Once I caught her taking pictures of his license plate from her minivan. The woman was unraveling, but she still thought she was untouchable. Then came the night everything changed. It was a Thursday, around 10 p.m. I was letting my dog out when I saw the unfamiliar truck parked 2 houses down, beat-up black pickup with tinted windows. A guy in a hoodie slipped out and headed straight for Ryan's garage. My stomach dropped. I texted Ryan. Someone's at your garage. Call cops now. Ryan was already moving. He'd installed extra cameras months ago, the kind that record audio and night vision. He grabbed the baseball bat he kept by the door and crept downstairs. Lily was asleep upstairs, thank God. The intruder, later we learned his name was Fingers Malone, local lowlife with a rap sheet longer than Karen's HOA rulebook, was pouring something from a red can onto the garage floor. The smell hit Ryan like a slap, gasoline. The Porsche sat there gleaming, completely unaware it was about to become a bonfire. Ryan flipped the lights. Hey genius, you lost? Malone spun, lighter in hand. Back off, man. This ain't personal. Tell that to the security feed already streaming to the cloud, Ryan said, voice steady even though his heart was hammering. He raised the bat. Malone lunged. They crashed into the workbench, tools flying. Ryan landed a solid hit to the arm. The lighter skittered across the concrete. But Malone was bigger. He slammed Ryan against the wall, fist connecting with ribs. That's when the garage door rattled. Karen stood there in all her pink glory, holding a box of matches like a torchbearer at the Olympics. "Finish it," she hissed. "He deserves this." Malone hesitated. Ryan's phone was already ringing, 911 on speaker. "Fire department and police to 142, Evergreen Lane. Arson in progress. Suspect is HOA President Karen Whitaker." Karen's face twisted. She struck a match. The rag she'd tossed onto the garage floor caught instantly. Flames raced toward the Porsche. Ryan grabbed the fire extinguisher he'd bought after the first threats and blasted the base of the fire while yelling for Malone to run. The thug didn't need telling twice. He bolted into the night. Sirens wailed in the distance. Neighbors poured onto lawns in pajamas. "Mrs. Patel was crying. Mr. Jenkins actually cheered when the fire trucks arrived." Ryan stood there, shirt torn, ribs bruised, watching the last flames die under the foam. His Porsche was scorched, but not destroyed. His house was safe. But the real damage was done. Karen had tried to burn a man's life down because he wouldn't bow. Police cuffed her right there on the driveway. She screamed the whole time. "This is a setup. He's framing me. I was just enforcing the rules." Ryan, breathing hard, held up his phone. "Rules don't usually involve gasoline, Karen. Smile, you're on camera." The footage was brutal, crystal clear, audio perfect. Karen directing Malone, lighting the rag, standing there smiling while the fire grew. Officers read her rights while the whole street watched. For one shining moment, it felt like it was over. But Karen posted bail by morning. Some mysterious friend with deep pockets. And that's when the Real War moved to court. The weeks that followed were hell in slow motion. Karen hired the most expensive shark in the county, Mark Reynolds, the guy who wears $3,000 suits and smiles like a shark that just smelled blood. He spun the story beautifully. Ryan was the unstable single dad trying to scam insurance money. The Porsche was overinsured. Malone was just a confused handyman who got mixed messages. Karen? Poor concerned citizen trying to stop a disaster. Witnesses started flipping. Mrs. Patel suddenly couldn't remember seeing Karen at the garage. The original security footage developed technical issues. Anonymous posts flooded the neighborhood Facebook group calling Ryan a bully. Lily came home in tears again. Kids at school said her dad was going to jail. Ryan's work dried up. The stress lines on his face aged him 10 years. But he never stopped collecting. Every court filing, every leaked rumor, every threatening text, he documented it. He also found something else. Turns out Karen's illegal backyard expansion wasn't just a code violation. It was funded straight out of the HOA emergency fund she controlled. Ryan quietly passed the bank records to his lawyer. The trial started in a packed courtroom that smelled like old wood and desperation. Karen sat there in a demure white dress, the picture of injured innocence, while Reynolds painted Ryan as the villain. "My client was simply trying to protect the community from a dangerous eyesore." Ryan's lawyer, a sharp woman named Sarah Chun, looked ready to explode. But they needed one more piece. That piece walked in during closing arguments. Old Mr. Jenkins, the same guy who'd been terrified of Karen for years, stood up in the gallery. "Your Honor, I have something to say." Reynolds objected. The judge, a no-nonsense woman who'd clearly dealt with Karens before, overruled him. "Let the man speak." "Mr. Jenkins pulled out an old flip phone. "I recorded this the night before the fire. Karen came to my house begging me to sign a petition against Ryan. When I refused, she said, 'Well, listen.'" He hit play. Karen's voice filled the courtroom, venomous and unmistakable. "That arrogant prick thinks he can expose me? I'll make sure he loses everything. The car, the house, the kids' college fund if I have to. Fingers is already on board. One little spark and it's all gone." The courtroom gasped. Karen went white as her fake innocent dress. Reynolds' mouth actually hung open. Ryan's lawyer simply said, "Your Honor, we'd like to enter this recording as evidence." Along with the security footage the defense claims was glitched. The judge didn't even need the jury to deliberate long. The new evidence was damning. Arson, reckless endangerment, embezzlement of HOA funds, witness tampering. The list grew. Karen's empire didn't just crack, it imploded. The verdict came down like a guillotine. Guilty on all counts. The judge didn't mince words. Mrs. Whitaker, you used your position to terrorize a neighbor, then attempted to destroy his life when he stood up to you. This court has never seen such blatant abuse of power disguised as community standards. Karen was led away in handcuffs, pink dress replaced by orange jumpsuit, screaming about lawsuits and conspiracies until the doors closed. The courtroom erupted in quiet applause. Outside, the local news vans were waiting. Headlines the next day read, HOA president torches neighbor's dream, ends up in prison. Ryan's Porsche got a full restoration paid for by Karen's seized assets. The HOA board was dissolved and replaced by actual elected residents who promised and delivered sane rules. Mr. Jenkins became the new president, and the first thing he did was repeal every ridiculous fine Karen had invented. But the real victory was quieter. Lily started sleeping through the night again. Ryan's clients came back. Neighbors who'd hidden in their houses during the drama started bringing over casseroles and apologies. One evening, Ryan sat on his porch with me, new coffee mug in hand, watching Lily wash the now pristine Porsche. You know what the craziest part is? He said. I never wanted to destroy her. I just wanted her to leave me alone. Turns out the only thing these control freaks fear more than exposure is a security camera and a neighbor who won't back down. Karen's mansion, the one she bought with embezzled money, went into foreclosure. She's serving 8 years. Last I heard, she tried to run an HOA reform blog from prison. Nobody reads it. Evergreen Oaks looks the same on the surface. Perfect lawns, waving flags, smiling faces. But now when someone starts talking about visual harmony, we all just laugh. Because we learned the hard way that behind every Karen with a clipboard, there's usually a trail of gasoline and desperation. And the best part? Ryan's Porsche still sits in that driveway every morning, shining like a middle finger to every petty tyrant who thinks they own the street. Justice, my friends, doesn't always come with a cape. Sometimes it comes with dashcam footage, a quiet dad, and one perfectly timed recording. And when it finally arrives, man, it feels so damn good. The end.